I think we can get slowly started. I think the first slide is a little bit boring. That's a presentation of me. Welcome to this Attender webinar. My name is Heine. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Attender. And we also have Nikolai on board, who is our sales executive for UK. Feel free to use the chat for questions, raise your hand or interrupt if there is anything. We'll also have plenty of time at the end for some questions. I promise you this will not just be death by PowerPoint. There will be some live demonstrations of this as well. So obviously we know that there is an absence crisis around the world at the moment. This is not just something that we see in the UK or Denmark where we're based. We're talking to schools all over the world, and everybody is seeing the same issue. Post-COVID, we are dealing with a high number of student absence. And why is that? Because I remember when I was a student, and if I skipped school and turned on the TV, there was basically nothing on, so I could turn on teletext. If I wanted to rent a movie, I would have to go and down to the movie store and a Blockbuster or something and rent that. But students today can just sit at home. They have access to any movie in the world, any social media. If they want to contact any of their classmates or friends, they can reach out through social media. And if I get even more bored, I have every game in the world available to me as well. So there's a lot of things that are sort of um, making these students not feel bored when they're at home. I'm not saying this is the main issue for absence, but just trying to understand that we're dealing with a different generation now than especially compared to my generation. And then we have the biggest time steal of them all, TikTok. So I like to call this the TikTok generation, where I would probably be the teletext generation. Um, but we also see with TikTok and social media, students more and more now need this dopamine rush. There is something I needs to get me going all the time. So we know all of you have some sort of attendance registration software already. This is typically in your MIS, Student Information System, or LMS, but that MIS is usually a Swiss Army knife. It has to do everything with enrollment, timetabling, grades, and so on. So we're thinking if you have a specialized problem, maybe you need a specialized tools, because our research before we started this, some of the feedback we were getting was the current tools, it was slow to register, meaning teachers wasted time on it, not easy to understand statistics, it more looked like spreadsheets. But the main thing that we got back is there was actually no one doing anything to motivate the students. So we register them, we see you're not there, but how could we actually incorporate this into an attendance solution? So that's why basically we built Attender. Um, we saw a big need for someone to rethink this. Attender is only going to focus on attendance and student absence. We're not trying to make a system that can do everything. We're thinking if there is a highly a big problem, you need a specialized tool for this. And I also want to highlight that Attender will not just fix everything. I know I'm also in sales. I'd love to sell more Attender, but let's also be honest. If you get Attender, your absence will not drop to zero. But it is a tool in a broader strategy. This sits on top of your existing MIS, and we do have integration with MIS systems and Department for Education and more. Um, we want to make sure that you get the best data possible and it's easy to mark the attendance, and we actually try and do something about this student motivation. And again, we know there are many reasons why students do not show up, and we don't always think that we can help everything in this, but with clear data, it's easier to highlight where the problems are. So Nintendo is sort of like a three-stage rocket, I would say. One of the main tools that we start out with is the registering of attendance. We try to make it super easy and very, very fast for teachers to mark attendance. This can be done manually through 4 different interfaces. You can mark for a lesson at a day, or you can mark for a whole day at a time. We also have the options to give the students more control of their own attendance by having them scan a QR code when they arrive at school. This obviously requires the schools to have a mobile-friendly environment. Um, the second stage of the rocket is let's do some intelligence statistics. So we made some very visual and easy to understand dashboards in Attender where no matter which role I am at the school, I'll see the data that's relevant for me. Very easy to understand, color coded with heat maps, projections, export the data. And if you want to incorporate this with some of your own data, this could be where do they live in the city, what are their parents' income, grades, well-being, and so on. You can export all the attended data easily and feed it into an AI and start asking it questions. And the second part of our intelligence statistics is we really, really try and build a dashboard for every user type you have. So obviously a teacher and a school leader wants to see 2 different things. So we have made dedicated dashboards for these. So parents as well, school secretary, if someone from the council or city caseworker or something needs access to some data, that's also available in this. We focus a lot on GDPR and data security in this. So this is also a very highly secure setup that we do, and we try not to include more data in Attended than we need to have in there. I have some more dashboards than this, and I'll show you those in the live demo in a little bit. The last stage of the rocket is gamification, because maybe it's not super motivating for a student to be hit on the head all the time for not showing up. What if we could actually try and encourage them to show up instead? So that's why we built gamifications where they earn streak, badges, coins, and have the opportunity as well to earn rewards. They can both be physical or purely digital. That's up to the school. I'll get into these more in detail a little bit. But the gamification feature has really, really gotten great feedback from a survey done on a school that's been running this for a year. 91% of the students said that gamification with physical rewards motivated them to attend more. So this is really amazing to have this. Attender can work in any browser. There's a dedicated iOS and a dedicated Android app for this as well, and it can also sit inside Microsoft Teams. And if you're using Microsoft Teams for online learning, Attender can automatically register what time the students logged in and what time they logged out, so the teacher doesn't actually need to do much. And also, how I mentioned with the QR codes, it's possible to have a QR code on a screen by the school doors or the entrances, and the students just scan the QR codes with their phone to mark themselves present. And one of the benefits that we've seen about this, not only the teacher will only have to do a spot check to see, okay, how many are in class and does it actually fit with the number that says they checked in, but it gives the students a little bit more responsibility for their own presence. We have other options for check-in, but and loads of features in Attender. I won't be covering all of them, but if you have specific issues or wishes or anything, just please raise them for us. We'll be happy to talk about them. But now I think 9 minutes is the legal allotted time for a PowerPoint presentation before people start falling asleep. So let me try and show some of this live instead, because I think it's actually much more fun. Let me see here, and I will do a little bit of a screen share. So right now, I'm logged in as a student. Obviously, the students will mostly be seeing on this on their phone, but there's a web interface for this. And again, I want to also mention that Attender is highly customizable, meaning that you can set up how you want Attender to work at your school. If you're thinking, yeah, we like the streaks and the badges, but the coins and rewards are not for us for the QR code, fine. You can switch things on and off depending on how you want it. You can also say instead of showing absence, you can show attendance. So instead of 12% absence, we would show 88% attendance instead. Again, trying to switch that from the whip and more to the carrot instead. But students will be able to earn streaks. How many days in a row have you been to class? This is something students will recognize from Duolingo and Snapchat. And for each minute they show up to class, they'll earn an attender coin. You can see I've been here many minutes. You can then set up a store in Attender. What can you use those coins for? So you can say, once you have 250 coins, you can get a free cocoa in the cafeteria. It could be free lunch. It could also be privileges like milk monitor or badge or whatever you'd like this to do. But there is something nice and rewarding about getting something in your hand for a job well done. Students are also eligible to earn different badges if they show up to class on May the 4th. Everybody knows that May the 4th is the Star Wars Day, then you earn the May the 4th badge. And also if you show up on a Monday, you get the I Hate Mondays badge, and you can level these badges up. And we have many more badges here and also more coming. If you want to, the students, and they have loads of data on themselves, they can see. If you want them to, students are also have the option to report themselves sick. This can also be done by parents instead. But if you want to say, you know what, I'm not coming at the last lesson tomorrow. So instead of me writing a text here, which you can do, but we actually recommend you switch that feature off because sometimes you'll get some highly sensitive information that way in. But we prefer that you use some of the reasons already. So we have different tags. You as a school select which one you want to use, and if you need some special ones, we can easily make that. But I'm not coming for the last lesson tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment. And the great thing about using the tags instead of text is that we do get that information into a statistics interface so we can start to see how many times did people have a doctor's appointment and so on. And I think if we use sorry, my grandparent died, you'll see students that have the grandparents died 10 times or something. I think it's a highly used excuse. We even had a student that said, instead of these reasons for sick, couldn't we just have one, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not motivated. And it's actually a brilliant feedback because as a student, instead of me and Aaron reporting and saying, you know what, he's been sick 10 times. Oh, poor Aaron. Instead, if he marked, I didn't feel motivated today to go, you would know I would have to maybe get in contact with that student. All right. The students also have the option, as I mentioned, to scan the QR code if this is something you want to set up as well. I can just do it really easily here. So when they open Attender on their phone, it'll just open up with the camera, so it's ready to scan. Obviously, you can't see this right now, but now I'm checked in. Oops, there we go. I've checked in as a student. And that means when the teacher goes in to mark attendance, when a teacher opens Attender, it'll automatically open the lesson that fits with the current time. And we can see Aaron, which was the student I was logged in. He has checked in. I'm sorry, I checked in 9 minutes too late. But that whole discussion about did you come late or what? Well, that's up to the student. The teacher can always override this and then say, you know what, it's fine. I'll mark you as being fully present. But you can change these things. But obviously, you just press green to mark students present, red to mark them not present, and you also have the option if you want to mark them late. Once everybody has a color and it's been marked, this button will show up. That means confirm registration. Boop. What this does is just gives you a checkbox as a teacher. So you know, okay, I've actually marked all lessons for today. I can change all this. Use as a school setup, how many days back and forth can I change this information? And you can have all the roles that can change further back in time. One of the great things about Attender is also I can see Morten's absence in this course, which is physics. It's 8.5, and in total for the whole education, it's 9.8. If I change it to red and he's not here, I'll immediately see the result of this. So if, for instance, I was a physics teacher and I could see Morten's absence was 80% in my class, but only 10% overall, I was thinking, oh, wait a minute, this is sort of a red flag for me. Maybe I should have a look at this. Teachers also have the option to mark, like we saw earlier, when I, as a student, marked an excuse for not being here or a reason for the absence. Teachers are also available, have that option as well, and can also see the notes on students and say, oh, you know what, we can see that tomorrow he's not coming for a doctor's appointment. So this is something that's a very easy to use interface. It's very, very quick. I also have extra options here. I can mark everybody present just with a button press. And if I want to mark for a whole day at a time, I have some different views I can use. But we also have, let's say you have the same students, 3 classes or 3 lessons in a row. I can mark them and say everybody was here. Or I can actually just mark everybody present, select all my lessons for today, and then I just had, let's say, Karen. She wasn't here at the end of the day, and you know what? Yeah, that's it. I can always go in and change this afterwards if I want to, but very, very easy registration. As a teacher, I also have access to some statistics on my classes and courses. I'll see an overview. I can click into my English class, see the students there. I can click further into them to see more data on them. This data can also be exported to a PDF or Excel if this is something I want to dig deeper into. I have a heat map here. I can see when is Brian mostly absent. We can see it's Tuesday mornings and Wednesday afternoons. It's more red. I also have a projection that shows, okay, this is your absence now. If I show up to every class at the end of the year, what will my absence drop down to? If I don't show up to any of them, what will my absence be then? And I can also see this for different courses or classes. And the reason why this can be interesting is because we have some education types where if you have more than 20% absence, you're not allowed to go to finals or to exams. So if we can already see Brian, you know what, you can never get under 20% in this class. Okay, then we need to start taking action on you. So obviously I can sort the students by percentage, name. I can also say, you know what, Brian, I always want him to be on top because I think there's something going on with him. So I always want to see what's going on there. We have an algorithm that sort of goes through the data in the last week, who's been absent the most and who should you take notice of. We also have a dedicated dashboard for guidance counselors where they can see information that's relevant for them. We have a parent interface as well, where I can report my children sick, see everything that happened on them, request holidays, and so on. As I mentioned, we also had one for caseworker. This could be someone at the council or someone at a MAT or something that would like to dig into some data and have that availability. It's also something that you can subscribe to, so you all just automatically get a PDF because we know some people have to put this into a caseworker system and so on. So they don't need to go in once a month to extract this information. They automatically get this sent as a PDF. I'll just show a little bit of one more system here. I have a school leader dashboard. And again, this has a lot of different fields available in it, and obviously you will only see the fields that are relevant for you. If you don't have something with holiday and vacation approvals, then that box will obviously be missing. But here, as a school leader, I get a really, really good overview of everything that's happening on the school, who's been absent recently the most, what are the reasons, how many are here today, and so on. And I can dig further into this. I can say, show me every student that has more than 5% absence on these different courses and subjects, and so on. You can really, really filter down into this. And once you've filtered out some information and say, you know what? Oops, sorry, I clicked on a student here. I want to export this data to Excel. Fine, because I want to use that for something else. That's really easy to do, and just click a button, and then it's exported. And again, you can see everything in here that's going on in the school, and we are doing a lot of work with this dashboard as well. We are also working on another dashboard, and let me see. I have this share my screen on top, and this is really annoying me. There we go. So one of the things that we are working on, where is that? I'll get that up in a little bit. We have a dashboard for mat leaders as well. For if you use a centralized mat, I'll show that screenshot here, because I think I accidentally closed that image here, that window. There we go. I hope you can see this. So you have a mat dashboard as well in this, where I, as a mat, can see what's going on in the individual school as an overview, what's happening, what's the trends, and go in and see the individual schools as well. And I also, just while I'm doing some live demo, I want to show you some of the things that we're releasing very soon. If you use Spotify, you'll notice that at the end of the year, you get a Spotify Wrapped. What kind of music did you listen to over the year? You can see you are in the top 1% listeners of the Beatles in the world, and sort of get like a year in review. And we've got some inspiration from that. We think that could actually be really fun to show to the students, but we don't want to show it at the end of the year because it's too late to then do anything about it. So once a month, they'll get a Spotify Wrapped. And this shows them, okay, so how did your September go? And I will be able to see, okay, this was your attendance this month compared to last month. Great, nice improvement. Um, this course you had 100% attendance in, fantastic. This is your streak. How many days in a row were you there? You earned this much amount of coins. Um, where could you improve? Okay, here are Monday mornings, you could be a little bit better. And what are the badges and achievements that you earned? And here's like an overview for this, just to get something a little bit more fun. We are also looking into doing class battles, because now the prizes that you saw are individual. So we're looking into also saying, you know what, we'll have the different classes compete against each other. Who can earn the most coins? And the winner at the end of the month will earn Pizza Friday or something. So here is a student view for this, and we also have a leader view for this as well. And we've also had some wishes for, uh, we know that students that are doing well will obviously earn a lot of coins, but how can we do something for people that are maybe struggling a little bit? So we made this idea, and we'd love to get some feedback on this. If you do a perfect month, or sorry, not a perfect month, a perfect week, you enter a lucky draw. So if you were there all 5 days, you enter a lucky draw. So I can see, okay, yes, I've earned this, the perfect week badge. Then the teacher or headmaster or whoever deals this out would say, okay, we have this week, we have 3 students that actually achieved the perfect week. Who gets the prize? And you can spin the wheel, and whatever that week's prize would be. So there's a attainable prize for everyone in this one. All right. And let me get back to some PowerPoint death here. And this was the wrong One. So this is the curse of having too many screens. I am now think confused myself to which screen I'm presenting on and which one not. So bear with me a second. Um, and here we go, and we'll just jump down here. Uh, there we go. Okay. Some of the feedbacks we get from schools is we had a local school here, a business academy. They had a huge issue of out of a typical class of 40 students, 10 to 15 students would be missing any given lesson. So they introduced a attender, and after 6 months, they are now missing one or two students. And we have secured a 50% reduction in that dropout. They started on one education type with 600 students, where typically 32 students would drop out in that semester. It's down to 16. So that's really, really fantastic. We also know this is a bit of older students. We are incorporating a lot into Attender as well to make sure that we can handle anything from primary to university levels. We have schools in 8 different countries using Attender. And we are also aware that many primary and secondary schools are moving to be mobile free. And how does that affect the prices and what you can get? Obviously, you can see it on your phone or your computer when you get home, but how do I redeem the prices and so on? So we have some interfaces where you can have someone working in a cafeteria or the office or have a select day once a week at a certain time slot when you can get your rewards handed out. We have interfaces for all of this as well. Pricing wise, a tender is from £2 to £4 per user per year, and a user is a student and a teacher, and we have different levels of this. And if since it's my birthday today, if you sign up today, I'll give you a really, really good deal because then I can afford to buy myself a prize. Um, if you want to try this attender, it's fairly easy to set up. We need an hour or two with someone from IT or tech savvy to set it up. We have integration with Wand and Exporter, and besides those systems, most MISs around the world, we have some sort of integration to. We'll be happy to provide you with a 1 month free license of this, and you can try it out. The demo system that I showed you here is available to you as well. I'll send link out to that. It doesn't require a login, so you can just go to the menu and switch between the different user types in Attender. And I think that leaves most of my that's my PowerPoint presentation. Um, any questions, comments, good or bad? And we also like tough comments. Um, yeah.
Hey there, it's Ian from Star Academies. I'd just like some more information on impact. I know you gave us an example of one school, but have we got more information around what the impact of using a tender is in any UK schools or anything like that?
So we're fairly new to the UK market, to be honest. So we've been running a tender for the last 4 or 5 years. We've had schools in the UK in for a couple of years, but it's been mostly secondary schools and what was it, a musical college as well that we have on board. I don't have a data for you, except that the schools are very, very happy with this, and no one's been they've been renewing their license. I haven't been able to dig into more data because it's been single schools and it's been specialized schools. One is for handicapped children, so it's not like they're not going to show up if you get me. So we're looking to work as well together with some mats on this as well, test it out. see if you like this. And obviously, we'd love to get some showcase schools on this. But I've been working with EdTech for the last 30 years and been working with attendance for the last 15. So we do know what we're doing with this. It's not just, hey, let's have a fun idea, but very open to doing some partnerships and trying this out. And if it doesn't work, then you wasted a little bit of time. Yeah.
So what is worth to mention as well, Heine, is that we are in talk with 5 schools in the UK right now. So we are also getting a lot of feedback all the time to progressing to get a tender even more specialized for the UK. Just want to add that.
See, more and more UK schools are sort of going phone-free environments. So the pupils have to sort of either hand their phones in or not bring their phones to school. This has had a huge impact on helping to manage issues like behaviour and bullying and engagement, etc.
Yeah.
You did very quickly mention sort of using from a pupil perspective, using a tender outside of school.
Yes.
But have we got any sort of case studies outside of the UK where they've been sort of operating in that sort of phone-free during the day school environment?
So you're thinking of a mobile-free in environment where, yeah, I think that most of them have been mobiles allowed schools that we have case studies on. I think I have one from Ireland. I think I could try and dig up and send you Ian after this. But I think the whole thing about the mobile free school is been fairly new. In our native country, Denmark, it's rolling out to all schools. So obviously, we're thinking, okay, how do we then get the students notified? What have they achieved? So we're working more on. So instead of they log into the app, obviously they'll get a notification in the app, an email. The parents can get some information, and in that sense, so once they leave the school, they can catch up on their progress. But we'd love to get some more feedback on that as well. How would this work? And again, I think we need to continuously adapt our software to what's going on. And I think that's one of our strengths that we have with Attender, since we're so focused on this. Once we have someone coming to us with, hey, could we do it like this? 2 weeks later, it's out. We have it. But there is also some quick wins in this, just better data, easier attendance registration. You can always then add on with the features, with the gamification parts. But if you have some brilliant ideas, I would be very interested in hearing them on how you can actually engage them in a mobile-free school. But this could also be having the teacher show at the end of the day or once a week, having that leaderboard thing, the draw that you see, so the students don't need to be on their phone. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that staff in schools spend quite a lot of time sort of developing is something to share quickly in assemblies with young
Yeah.
people, like some leaderboards and those sort of things.
Yes.
People who are have got the best streaks and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Having something specific around, that sort of pupil facing summary of achievements that could be used as something like an assembly,
Yeah.
I think would probably be an effective function.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the one you saw with the spinning wheel would be one of the things that we're working on or are very far with right now. We just been some schools have been a little bit hesitant about making direct student competition. We're thinking of we spend a lot of time trying to get this to a point where students that are having a rough time would also feel that they have a chance at this. We shouldn't just give out prizes to Emma. That's always there. And it's a goody two shoes, right? We need to have something that motivates those students that, okay, where this actually would do a difference. But also, let's reward the ones that do also show up. So I think the draw is a really good idea. We
I
have,
think being able to sort of flip the criteria on a regular basis. So, for example,
yeah,
1 week you're looking at overall attendance, the next week you're looking at improvement, the next week you're looking at punctuality,
yeah,
would sort of alleviate some of those issues around always rewarding the same pupils.
yeah,
Um, and also a function where if you've received a reward, then you sort of unknowingly, you don't know it as a pupil, but the system knows you've received a reward, and therefore it takes you out of the possibility of the next reward for a
yes,
period of time, so that it
yeah,
shares out those rewards to more pupils and gets more engagement, will be something that will be
yeah,
useful too.
yeah. I completely,
Anything that saves like the sort of manual element of a teacher having to have that thought process and sort of manage
yeah,
those day-to-day functions. Staff in schools are really, really busy,
yeah.
so they just need something that almost does the thinking for them in that respect.
Yeah, and exactly, I like the idea. We had thought of sort of the punctuality as well, and also the part about you can't have the same winner twice in a row. You can't have Meryl Streep like win every week, because that gets a little bit boring, and you'll probably even get bullied if you won 4 times in a row. Um, so I think that's a very, very valid point. But that's also sometimes that why we're building some of these things. Let's get something out quickly and get some feedback on that. And we have some ideas built up already how to improve this. But instead of us trying to make a complete A to C reward system with all the features that you mentioned and everything, and then figure out that doesn't always work. We made that mistake a little bit with some dashboards for guidance counselors, where we thought they wanted this, but then when we talked to them, it's like, yeah, they were very, very happy with what we had. They just wanted one extra thing, one tiny thing, and it's like, oh, great. So now we learned that lesson. Let's go out and talk to not only the teachers in the schools, but also sometimes the students. I've been very surprised to hear from the students that they don't mind the competition against each other. And I said, but what if you see a leaderboard and out of 20, you're number 18? And they were like, yeah, but I knew this already. I knew that. But we want to have the option where the school can say, okay, these pupils here, they are opted out. They're not going to be a part of this for whatever reason. Their parent died or something that means like, okay, let's leave them out of this. Yeah. It's hard to get a system where you get 100% everything right, but if we can start working on 90% and then for next version it's 95% and then keep going. Yeah. But we've seen some schools do the weekly draws manually, and it's yeah, complete chaos. I've seen a lot of cardboard cutouts, and we saw someone do some sort of a Monopoly game thing where I was like hugely complex, and I was just, yeah, this could be done digitally much quicker. Yeah.